Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later because we've got a Blokees invasion today, and I absolutely cannot wait to check out this little lot. Yes, if you've not come across Blokees before, then they're a licensed Transformers manufacturer creating some rather charming figures that you build yourself at home in a range of styles, complexities, sizes, all of that kind of good stuff. So we're going to check out what they've got on offer today. And I was sent all of this by Blokees themselves to take a look at, so I'm hugely appreciative of that. So thank you very much to them, of course, especially as I've heard nothing but good things about their figures online. And of course I will include a link to their site down in the description below so you can get some Blokees action yourself should you wish. Alternatively, I will include a link to a giveaway, so more on that later, but you will find that down in the description below too. First up for consideration is this Galaxy version 01 set, which is a box of 9 different figures, all with Blokees trademark chipified style, super cute, and this is the kind of entry range from what they do. Next up we've got 2 classic class figures based on Rise of the Beasts versions of Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, and these are slightly more intricate, still very much of the same style as the regular figures, but they've just got that little bit more complexity and a few more bells and whistles too. Then we come to the kind of Mac Daddy of Blokees offerings, that is the Action Edition G1 Optimus Prime, far and away the largest figure that you're going to see here, as well as the most complex build, and it has loads of features as well, so I'm very privileged to be able to check this one out today. I cannot wait. Anyway, we're going to check out the Galaxy 01 box first of all, and once you get the main, larger box open, you'll see inside that there are 9 smaller boxes, and each of those is like a secret figure. To find out what it is, we don't know yet, but once we get the individual boxes open, we'll be able to see which characters we've got. So that's a bit of fun, isn't it? And it's also worth saying that you can get these individually. You don't have to buy an entire box like this, but I think this is quite an enjoyable way to do it. So there you go, there's the 9 individual packs that you get inside the larger box. We've got 6 Autobots from the looks of things, and maybe 3 Decepticons. I guess we're going to find out. Now these individual boxes are sealed, so there's no way of knowing what's in here at present, but we are going to find out very soon. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? We'll just go ahead and confirm. So you get 2 little bags inside the box. You get a smaller bag with some of the bits and a larger bag as well, but that's the smaller bag open. So let's see what's in here. Got various bits. Of course, this all needs to be assembled. We've got some hands going on here. We've got a little stand as well. Okay, let's go ahead and see what we've got in the larger bag just here. Okay, wow, okay. I was thrown off by the instructions, but it's not Optimus, actually. It's quite clearly Jazz. I mean, that's super cool, because who isn't a Jazz fan in this hobby, right? Anyway, yeah, the instructions threw me off a little bit because they do show Optimus Prime just there, so that was kind of what I thought it might be, but then there are some specific instructions for different figures on the back as well. And we're going to get straight into it with the build here, and the first thing you want is this kind of chest piece just there. That's the kind of base for the entire figure, if you like. And to that, we're going to need to give it some shoulders, so you can actually just go ahead and snap those fairly neatly off the sprue, and these parts just snap together super easy, like so. And then there's this little neck piece which kind of goes in there, and you got to push it until you hear a click. Next we've got the various pieces that make up the crotch, so that starts with this. It's the kind of hip joints and everything, and then onto that you want to put the front plate and another one on the back, and then we'll go ahead and connect the 2 halves of our body so far. Now coming back to our sprues, you need to make up 4 joints for the 2 arms and 2 legs, and those are made of 2 pieces each, so we need to get those off. That's one just there. And then we've got the other side of it. And then as you might expect, these 2 pieces just kind of clip together like so. Now first we're going to make Jazz's arms. So you just want to go ahead and click that joint into the bicep. And then here we've got a forearm piece, and that similarly just slides in there. And then if you give it a little push, there we go, we've got a click. Oh, we need to give him a hand. What's it going to be? Fist or palm? I think we're going to go fist on this one. So of course, that just pegs in like so. And then if you haven't figured out where this is going already, that just attaches to the main body like so. We got 1 arm, right? Let's give him some legs. Same thing, joint into the thigh. And then of course you've got the lower leg just there. Same thing as before, just got to give it a good old push. Now for the feet, you've got another of those little ball joint pieces. And then of course it's just a question of popping the foot on the end. Foot meet ankle. Then naturally just make sure that's orientated correctly and snap it onto the main body. Now of course it may not look like much at the moment, but we're not even nearly done yet. But at the very least, this is the kind of basic building blocks that makes up all of these small Blokees figures. Now we're going to go ahead and snap on the leg covers, and in Jazz's case you want to make sure that they've got these little ball joint sections on the outside, because that's where the wheels will attach. Now comes the fun part, because we get to put the chest on, and you want to make sure that these little nubs on the shoulders are in the right orientation, so they just kind of slot in like that. And then you can come around to the reverse and put his backpack on, and that just slots on very neatly like so. Next up, we just want to slide those shoulder pieces over the top of the arms until they click. Now we've got the wheels to do around the ankles, and the first thing you want to do is put on that little wheel arch just like that, and then of course the wheel just snaps into place after that. A couple more wheels to do up the top as well, just on his shoulder sections. After which we want to go ahead and peg in his door wings, his iconic door wings. Are they iconic? They're iconic to me. Now of course we're nearly done, but we've got the head to go, so I think it's going to be easier to put the face on first and then sort of slide the helmet down on top of it. There we go. And we'll go ahead and equip him with his little blaster as well. And there we go. Great fun. Very straightforward. I mean, slightly more difficult to do on camera, obviously, because everything is, but nobody's going to have any kind of drama getting this thing together in the real world. And believe me, the results are very charming indeed. He looks absolutely great. I mean, this is not a big figure by any stretch, but it's got some really nice detail already. I mean, some nice decals and things all over the top there, some lovely colours. I think the face sculpt is great. I mean, that just is jazz. It gives all the right kind of vibes, and yeah, I really dig the look as well. As I say, I think they're super cute. Love it. I mean, you've got a surprising amount of articulation going on here as well. Of course, the head is on a ball joint, as we've seen. You've got that kind of double hinge at the shoulder just there, so that's got a really good range of motion. Bicep swivel, you've got a really good elbow bend, well past 90 degrees. You've got ball jointed hands, so that's all really good. You've got a good 90 degrees at the hips, and that all feels really fluid. You've got really nice bend at the knee just there, and very decent ankle tilt as well. Can I say way in advance of most Transformers toys, so very poseable overall. Got a good waist swivel going on there, and you can even move his little door wings should you wish. So there we go, super poseable, super fun, feels really good as well, feels really solid, doesn't feel like it's going to come apart at all or anything like that. So honestly, I'm really quite impressed. But should you prefer, then he also comes with this little display base as well, so you can just kind of tab him on there, and that could be a good option for people, you know, if you want to have him displayed in any kind of way, and that will connect to some of the other bases, so neat idea. We've also still got the additional hands just here, so you can have 2 of the open palmed hands if you prefer, or 2 fists. Now also on the sprue is this little Autobot logo accessory. It's got a little peg at the bottom, so that can be held in hand, or as the instructions say, placed in any hole, so there you go. But there's a Decepticon logo on the back as well, so that's a little bit of fun. Anyway, with Jazz now done, I think we should go ahead and look at the rest of them. And there we go, that's the full set assembled, and that was tons of fun. And it really doesn't take very long either, like, you know, just to put them all together, it's a very quick and easy process, very enjoyable to do. I loved it. Now firstly, here we have both Bluestreak and Prowl, who share a mould, and obviously share quite a few parts with Jazz as well, as you might expect, and they just look terrific. I mean, there's a lot of personality in that face for starters, isn't there, with his little blue eyes and everything else. Of course, you've got the classic head crest going on here. You've got little shoulder launchers, which are on ball joints, so they can move around quite a bit. Got the door wings, which can move as well, same as with Jazz. Got his little hand blaster there. It just looks great. Quite like some of the colour choices on Bluestreak as well. Like, they've added in a lot more kind of red on the abs and things like that. It looks really good. Next, you've got the Van Bros. It's Ratchet and Ironhide, and of course, again, they share a mould. There are a few little differences between the two of them, but yeah, they really do look great. I mean, with Ratchet, you've got his little head crest. Yet again, you've got a cartoon accurate white helmet here instead of the red one that you do see sometimes. You've got his little heartbeat monitor on the chest just there, that's kind of cool. He's got a pair of red crosses on his shoulders, which is unexpected because you definitely don't see that on every official product. I mean, not even on the Masterpiece were they painted on, so that's something. And both of these guys come with little weapons blast effect pieces as well. Likewise on Ironhide, you've got some nice detail going on here, like the little cracked windshield just there, so that's kind of fun. Then on the Decepticon side, we've got Skywarp and Thundercracker, you know, 2 Seekers, and I think these might be some of my favourites actually, just because of some of the detail that's included, just kind of, I don't know, super adorable takes on these classic designs. Now with Skywarp, first of all, you've got that nice lavender purple going on, which looks really cool. Got a little gold section like on the chest, just to kind of break up the black. Similar story with Thundercracker, that blue is really nice. And you know, I just think that what is good on here is things like the wings and the intakes and all of that kind of stuff. It's a really nice design. They've got their little null rays on the shoulders just there as well. Those are also on a ball joint, so they kind of move around. So there's tons of posability here. Just great fun. As for Megatron, I think this might be one of the best, honestly, because just look at that scowl on that face. I mean, that is the maniacal Decepticon leader in all his glory, isn't it? Obviously, he's got his little fusion cannon on his arm just there. That's really nice. Again, with a little blast effect piece, which can be attached if you want, or taken off. Nice little detail on the chest and things like this as well, a lot of moulded detail going on there. It's got the little barrel from the gun mode at the back here as well, so that's a very fun inclusion. And both he and Optimus have got this little pointy finger as well. It's kind of an additional option for those two, so they can point at each other and, get the trash talk going and whatever else, so yeah, great fun. Same with Optimus, you do get that pointy hand, or you can put his classic rifle into his palm as well, so that's really nice. And actually over here you get his Energon axe, also in a really lovely translucent orange with some nice moulded detail going on there as well. That looks beautiful. Honestly, really nice touch on that. Oh, and of course there's one thing that you can do if you want to for a bit of fun. I think you know where I'm going. Yes, it's ripe for a how do you feel about going on the offensive homage, isn't it? Anyway, all told, this is a really enjoyable set. I mean, there's absolutely tons to have fun with here, from the secret nature of which character you're going to get at the start to the actual build itself, not to mention the final product, which is just great fun, really enjoyable to handle and mess with and pose and all of that kind of stuff. I know I keep saying it, I keep using the same word over and over, but it's just fun. Anyway, now we're going to move on and check out some of those classic class figures as well. I mean, you've already got a lot more bags going on here, lots of sprues I can see just there, so this is clearly a much more involved build overall. It's a similar principle at the end of the day. It's just taking bits off those sprues, snapping them together, then you get a nice figure at the end of it. And it's funny to see that at the core of it all is a very similar inner body, albeit this time with some light up effects as well, and again some very similar kind of sprue pieces for the joints, things like that. Really the biggest difference here is that all of the pieces on the sprues are numbered, so you have to kind of go and find the specific part that you want, but honestly there's still that same sense of familiarity about it all, and everything pops together really nicely, so it's the same easy experience, just grander. Like when you're building the arm, you want this specific piece for the shoulder. They're not interchangeable. As well as the core skeleton, you've got lots of armor pieces that need to come off as well. But it does seem like everything just tabs together really beautifully though. I mean, honestly, if anybody felt intimidated about the idea of putting stuff like this together, they shouldn't be. I mean, I promise you, you could not be more of a novice at this kind of thing than me. The other good thing here is how easily stuff just pops off the sprues. That's one arm done. Nice and easy. I mean, personally, I really don't see the need for clippers or anything, but honestly, they're so well designed that everything just pops off so nicely. Makes the whole affair feel quite relaxing, if anything. Now, I will say that by their very nature, a lot of these pieces are significantly more intricate, but even then, everything fits together really well, just clips in, simple. And ultimately, the principle is much the same, that once you've built up the body with all the little intricate parts and the arms and whatever else, you just snap it all together. And then over time, it starts to take shape and start to look a lot more like Bumblebee. And there we go, he's all done. And yeah, honestly, tons of fun again. Definitely more intricate than the sort of standard Blokees figures, but quite rewarding as well. Everything snaps together so beautifully. It's like real precision craft, actually. It's, not difficult to do just because of how easy they've made it, how well it's manufactured. I think it all contributes towards having a pleasurable experience with it. And once again, he looks the business. I mean, it's like a very cute styled version of the Rise of the Beasts character model for Bumblebee. And it looks really good. Similarly articulated, it's got lots of nice joints and things like this, maybe even a little bit more than the standard Blokees. Really catches the eye nicely. That's thanks to lots of mechanical detail down here on the abdomen section, and a little bit of colour around the sides there. Again, more detail in the face. I think snapping together those different colours of plastic really makes a difference around here as well, so it just looks great. What's cool here is that there are some additional pieces that mean if you want to, you can remove his hand and then actually put his weapon in place instead, so that just snaps on like so. And there he is, all armed up and looking every bit as mean as he does in the film. Quite adorable though too, right? Now, as with the more simple kits, there is a display stand included, but here it's made up of two pieces that then have to snap together like so. And then if you want to anyway, you can actually go ahead and adorn that with a couple of decals that just kind of place on like so. And there's even these rather nifty little flame effects pieces which you can just add to the stand. And they look really cool. I really like the way they kind of catch the light. Et voila! I think he's absolutely brilliant. And it's a similar story, of course, with the classic Class Optimus Prime kit as well. That looks equally good. And the two of them together make for a really nice display, actually. Or just, a lot of fun to handle. I mean, the detail on this guy is similarly superb. Honestly, looks really, really good up close. It definitely bears for quite a lot of scrutiny, considering, the price point and everything that we're talking about here. It's really well done. And there is a little light up gimmick as well, which is really good because then Not only do the eyes light up, but you can actually open his little window chest just there, and you've got a nice bit of robotic detailing with kind of like a matrix there or whatever else it is, so that's really cool. And similarly to Bumblebee, he does have a swappable out hand as well, so you can put either a normal hand on there's a couple of options for that, or this weapons piece, which is super cool. I think the Optimus might be my favourite out of these two actually. There's just something about the design of it, the colour's really nice, the intricate detailing, all of it. It was fun to build as well, so definite recommendation from me on these two. And here's Optimus compared with the smaller, more simple Blokees, the G1 version, and it's really interesting looking at these two side by side because of course they both build off that same kind of core chest piece, you know? Alright, the one has light up features, but ultimately it's still kind of building from that same place. But the classic class is so much more intricate, so much more detailed, so much more involved, that already, despite there not being a huge size difference between the two, it just feels like a much more sort of substantial product. But actually I think they both work well in that regard because it gives you some really good options. I think Blokees have been quite smart in delivering both of these, but still working off ultimately their same kind of core design. Of course we're not done yet, my friends, because we've been working up to the grand finale, the Action Edition Optimus Prime, and if nothing else, the figures so far have really whet my appetite for this one. I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but let's see how we get on. It does still make a thing on the box that there's no glue required, no cutters required, so that's good for me. That's about my speed, to be completely honest. I do think as well that this is the one I've been most looking forward to because from the pictures I've seen of it and the videos and stuff, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. Can already see that there's a lot more going on in the box here with this one. A lot more pieces. This might take a while. I mean, yeah, we've got a whole instruction book this time instead of just like a little fold-out pamphlet or anything like that. So kind of gives you an idea of the sort of level of complexity that we're looking at here. But to be honest, it still looks relatively simple. I'm not intimidated by it at all. I mean, definitely a lot more sprues with this one. Colour of that's really nice, actually. And yeah, a lot more going on. I'm going to have to get organised, I think. Bit different this time because it's obviously a different inner body here, much more kind of intricate. And this one has light up pieces as well, which is controlled with this little magnet. So that is super cool. Love it. But you know, it's the same principle. Find the piece on the sprue, snap it out, and then of course just snap it onto the body in the right place. We'll get some of the red parts on there as well. It's funny actually because I feel like I've only just got started and yet it's already taking shape quite nicely. Even got some nice little painted gold pieces here for, yes, you might have guessed it, our very own little matrix of leadership, which is super cool. Definitely some more intricate bits on this one, like these little lights on top of the cab doors. But hey, it's all still pretty easy, and it's definitely starting to take shape now. What's more noticeable here though is that you're quite literally building the joints as you go, because it's multiple pieces put together to kind of create that one finished inner piece. Not to mention there are lots of pieces as well that are kind of the inner mechanics of the whole thing, but you don't actually see in the finished product. Like here, these arm pieces, there's a lot of detail here, but it's going to get covered up. And I don't know, I just kind of love that attention to detail. It just seems so funny to me because they absolutely did not have to do that, right? Like you could have got away without it, but the fact that it's there just makes it kind of fun. I mean, case in point here, we're going to put that little yellow triangular bit in there. That's covered up that detail. And then you've got this piece on the side, which, you know, you've just seen all of that mechanical detail, but then you actually peg that piece in there. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of mad, but I love it. Anyway, we've got some fingers to put on here, and then we can go ahead and assemble our full arm. There we go, looking good. I mean, here's another great example as we're building the legs. Because you've got that piece that snaps on there. I've just kind of made the whole joint and everything. And then you've got these wheel pieces that go on like so. But then pretty soon we get to this stage where we're starting to build the leg out a little bit more. And you put this sort of inner armour on there. And you can see that the wheels are already slightly hidden as it is. And then we soon get to putting on the outer armour, like the blue pieces around the legs. And you can see those wheels just there. And then actually with this back piece on, once it's all kind of closed up and snapped together, you don't even see the wheels at all. Like they're in there. You know, you just don't see them. I don't know. I just find that strange, I suppose, but it just makes me appreciate this design, everything that goes into it. I think it's exceptionally clever. I don't know, it's like those pieces are there purely to enhance the build experience. One other thing I think is like super cool is we're putting the eyes in here, right? And You actually have optional pieces, so they could be blue, they could be orange as well. It's completely up to you. Same thing goes for like this faceplate here. There we go, there's his face. That's got two options. It's got a darker one as well. I don't know, it's like they've really thought about every aspect of how you interact with this figure, even through the build, to make it worthwhile. Anyway, we're at the stage where it's time to do all the putting together, aka the satisfying bit. And it's funny because on the one hand, this feels like quite an accomplishment, whereas on the other, it's really not been arduous at all. It's been just great fun. I mean, I kind of just want to get stuck in and do some more now, if anything. And there we go, he looks amazing. The finish on this thing is spectacular, the build quality feels really good, it all feels very, very premium. I'm super impressed, honestly. I mean, I didn't expect it to turn out quite as nice as this. It's just glorious. I mean, the idea that something that you snap together yourself at home can turn out quite as spectacular as this is a bit of a revelation to me. I'm going to be completely honest, but really, really good. Honestly, very, very happy with it. Just everything looks so good. Honestly, love the shiny silver kind of going on. The yellow pieces look brilliant for the fact that they're put in separately. This kind of translucent blue here with the matrix shining through, that's just really lovely. The red, the colours, everything. It's just so nice. Feels super sturdy as well, and with great articulation. I mean, the head can move around quite freely. The shoulders, you've got a lot of range of motion just there as well, kind of on several joints so they can move back and forth. They've got a bit of a butterfly. Two joints here just as well underneath the kind of armor piece. You've got terrific range of motion all round. You've got articulation in the wrists. You've got articulation in the fingers. These three are all molded together, but this finger here is separate, as is the thumb. Coming down here, you've obviously got a waist swivel, but you also have an ab crunch as well, so that's really something. Then here you've got some hip skirts, which obviously I've put in myself, and the hips go quite far up, and you've got really good range at the knees as well, and then really, really great ankle tilt. So overall, very fluid thing. Yeah, very impressed. Even got some little bend in the toes there, which I hadn't appreciated before, and all told, it just makes him super nuanced, super articulated, really fun to pose, feels very stable. It's like, what more could you want out of an action figure of Optimus Prime? And you got to build it yourself, and it looks super cool. Brilliant. Of course, there we've got the gun in place. That's even got a little pump action effect just there, where you can see this piece just raises up. So very clever. Alternatively, you can take his hand off altogether and replace it with his energy axe just here, which looks breathtaking, honestly, with the really nice molded detail in the orange plastic just here. So superb job. Of course, as we saw earlier, he's got his little opening doors on his chest, just like so. And then if you use that magnet piece, you can light it up to see his matrix light our darkest hour. That's so cool, man. Really cool. And if you go ahead and remove this back piece off here, then you can actually give him the rocket pack, which is given to him by Sideswipe in the cartoon, of course. There you go. I mean, that's another piece that I had to build myself, but it looks super cool. And if you pop out that little panel on his arm just there, then you can actually go ahead and fit a little communicator. And there are even two options for this, because the decal is one that you place on yourself, and it's Bumblebee on there, but there is one of Megatron also, so that's kind of fun. Or you can plug in this little blue translucent plastic piece here, and again, there's two options for the sticker on that, and it's just kind of like a little informational readout. Alternatively, yes, this guy does have a stand that you can display him on as well, and you can even put the little magnet in there and a few of the other accessories as well, kind of display them alongside him. Just very well thought through overall. Really great package. And as if to prove that point, there's even more optional stickers that you can use to kind of give him slightly more of a toyetic look. Anyway, here we have the 3 Optimus Primes that we've looked at today on offer from Blokees, and my word, I really feel that they've kind of captured the market with these. You know, the fact that they're all so different, that they have varying complexities, varying gimmicks, everything else. But I think it's a great idea that Blokees have had here with kind of making sure that there's that variety in the market. So just superb. Honestly, all 3 of them are superb. And then just to give you an idea of the size, here's a couple of comparisons. So you can see him with the G1 Optimus Prime toy, you can see him with Earthrise Optimus, and the new Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime as well. So they're not large by any means. They're not going to take over your entire collection or anything like that, which I think is really good. But particularly the Action Edition, you know, it feels really substantial and worthwhile. So they look great. Anyway, all told, I've had a great time with this set of figures today. So again, a major thank you you to Blokees for providing all of this for me to take a look at. I've simply been bowled away by it all, so thank you again. Now, if you do check the description below, you will also find a link to a giveaway where Blokees are going to give you the chance to win some of their products. All the instructions are provided if you click the link, but the main thing to know is the more action you take, the higher your chances are of winning. So go and check that out now and get yourself some Blokees action. And of course, I'll also include a link to their site down in the description below, as I mentioned, so you can just go and check them out as well if you want to. But otherwise, that's it from me. So thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day. TTFN.